possible so that we can probably start our closure today. Excuse me, and then you would hopefully have no homework tomorrow. Reminder, I'm out tomorrow. I have a meeting at the WEC. I will be back for AO and all that nonsense. I'll probably be back at some point during lunch. Sorry, AO is not nonsense, but the middle of the day is just confusing, so that's why I call it that nonsensical schedule in there. Yes, it is kind of madness. So, if you need me, I will still be here tomorrow, but just not during your class. So, what's up is your objective with class tomorrow is to finish your closure. If not, whatever's remaining is homework. So we're going to try to get to that starting it today. Congrats. You're just making me nervous standing up on those. Just asking to fall.
That means I won't have to do math.
No, you still have to do math.
What?
You can do math even in a full body cast. We made it through all the way to 106, right?
What if you're mentally ill?
I need to zoom out a tiny bit. So we talked yesterday briefly at the end about the multiple ways that we can do these problems. And I said you can compare like shape A to shape B, and then the other one has to compare shape A to shape B. Or I can compare a shape with itself, and then in the other fraction compare the other shape with itself, and still I have to make sure they're corresponding. So JR sets up 3 compared to 4 for his one fraction equal to x compared to 6. So go ahead and set up, why are you still blue? Go ahead and set up on your paper the proportion 3 to 4 is equal to x to 6. He sets up right here, 3 to 4 equal to x to 6. Now, JR loves the giant one. So JR is thinking, is there a way that I can use the giant one to find x? So, I'm going to zoom in on this for a second. I just wanted you guys to be able to see everything at the same time. I think you already had a header from yesterday. We drew a squiggly line. So just please make sure you've written down somewhere that this is 722, even if it's just out in the margin. So I want your team to check this out for a minute and see, is there a way we can use the giant one to solve for x? And remember, the giant one can be anything we want it to be, as long as it's the same thing on top and bottom. So I can multiply by whatever I want in here because it's just 1, right? And multiplying by 1 doesn't change anything. Like if I had 6 over 6 or 10 over 10 or 18 over 18, whatever, I don't have to multiply on both sides because I really only multiply by 1, right? So that's where, because last year I realized after I taught this was kind of confusing kids because we had the rule of when I do it on one side, I got to do it on the other side. But this is just multiplying by 1, and that doesn't change anything. It changes the numbers, but it doesn't really actually change. So talk to the group for a minute. Is there a way that you can process through that we could do this and solve for x? Then after you talk about that for a moment, read what he thinks in B, or what Letitia thinks in B. What was your time? What did you use? Oh! Then you broke the rules! Gwendolyn's a rule breaker.
You have to write out a number.
Right or solve. Black magic. That'll be gone.
So Letitia agrees with Gwendolyn. Letitia. Is it? So Letitia is like, yeah, the giant one just it takes so long, right? It's exactly what Gwendolyn said. So Letitia does this. She says, I know that x is just being divided by 6. Well, knock it off, division. I'm going to undo the division by multiplying. And I multiply by 6 because a 6 on top and a 6 on bottom. And it seems like what Letitia's done is fine. But if we go back up here to what JR wanted to do, anyone tell me what giant one you would try here? George? 6 over 1. 6 over, well, that's not a giant. Well, you mean 6 over 1 on top and 6 over 1 on bottom? Because that'd really just be 6 over 6. Okay. Connor?
6 over 6 and then divide by 4.
That would not be a giant one.
So like you kind of divide 6 over 6. And then you divide by 4 over 4. What? And you do 4.5 over 6.
So this would give us 18 over 24.
Yeah, then I divided by 4 to get 6 over.
You saying divide on top and bottom?
Yeah.
18 doesn't really divide by 4 very nicely. I mean, I could do, like, I can do the same thing on top and bottom. That would be fine. But it doesn't work out nice. 1.5 over 1.5. Why is that? Oh, so that turns the 4 into 6. And then this turns into 4.5. It's kind of complicated, isn't it?
You just divide 4 by 6.
No, who said no? Give me another idea then. Okay. So there are a couple ways that we can make this work. But if we go on and look at guys, if you're gonna be back there, that cannot happen. So if that happens again, you're done for like 2018. Okay? Because I'm tired of that, and your classmates are tired of being jumped out of their skin by loud noises. I asked you earlier to just sit down because I told you you were making me nervous. That's why. Can you stay seated? If you can't, you can have a regular desk. Am I clear? Thank you very much. So, Letitia does this. And then Avner says, but wait, I still have a denominator, right? Even if I take Letitia's method, we would then over here get 18 over 4. So Avner's like, I got an idea. Avner sounds like a name that he would talk with some sort of Appalachian twang. Says, I know what to do. All right, this probably has a weird glitch in the recording for anybody at home playing along with us, but we lost power for a moment. So, back to Letitia and Avner. Now, Braylon, you were discussing just a moment ago, and I love people that are direct with what they want. Braylon said, I want an easy way to solve this. Now, were you talking about A or B, or which one were you talking about? You're talking about what? A whole different problem. So if I look at A, is there like an easy way to shortcut to a solution there? There is if we can recognize it. So we have P over 22.5 equals 7 over 5. How'd you solve that one, Brandon?
I didn't see that problem.
So that's an issue, right? We had a couple minutes of like glitchiness because the power went out, but can you help me with B? Or is this like Braylon was off task the whole time? So how'd you do B? Well, how do we set it up though? That's because that's where kids make the most mistakes. Actually, anybody makes the most mistakes is in the setup. a conversation with class. Okay. What do you mean just found it? Like, how? I mean, talk me through your process. No, you don't. Everyone shut your eyes.
Okay.
There's no one here.
No, your ears. I don't care.
Shut your ears. How'd you process? So what is X?
Leave the room.
I know what you're going to tell me, but I need you to tell me. What is X? How'd you get that? You're right.
Yay.
How did you know that?
I just did the same thing from yesterday.
What do you mean you just did?
What did you do yesterday?
Did the thing where
Very
Quit. So what I think Braylon did.
Okay.
You are killing
Okay,
me.
so
Yes!
I have okay.
Wait,
I found
not nice.
I found 1/5 of no, I found 4/5, which is 12. I found 4/5 of 30, which is 24.
You are trying way too hard.
Okay, you see that's
Because I want you to realize there's an easier way. I just heard you ask me about, is there an easy way to do this? Dude, I got an amazingly easy way.
that was my easy.
If I set up the shape compared to itself, this problem is like easy peasy. Who can tell me how you set up the ratio? Liz? Or, no, actually I wasn't looking at Chloe, I was looking beyond Chloe. But I guess, sorry, since Savannah called on Chloe, yeah. Or Caitlin, Horn, I know you, I don't know why I switched your name. Occasionally, and this happens apparently more and more as you get older, your brain just like misfires.
Yeah.
And yeah. So I've started to use that when I say the wrong thing to my wife. I'll be like, look, I didn't, my brain just. So sorry, Caitlin, what proportion did you set up? Yeah. If I do 15 over 30, that's a half. Or, now what I think is even easier, Caitlin, flip what you just told me. 30 over 15. That's 2. Right? That's double. So then, if I go corresponding side, x over 12, well, if this equals 2 over 1, so should this. And that has to be 24. I don't need to cross multiply or anything. I know that the shapes have to relate to each other in the same manner because we've been told they are similar. This only works because they're similar. If they just say, here's 2 triangles, we can't do this. But because they told us it's similar, we are good. Braylon, I know I stressed you out, but thank you very much. I appreciate your help.
Yay, Braylon!
An apple juice container is slowly leaking. Sad day. If the container leaks 3 ounces every 19 minutes, how long will it take it? We'll assume the hole's in the bottom. For it to leak all of 16 ounces. Who can tell me the proportion you set up? Right?
So it's kind of easy. If you have 3 ounces in 19 minutes and 16 ounces, so 16 divided by 3 is 19.
Ooh, now hold on. I like that. So you said 16 divided by 3. So you took ounces, the new ounces, over the ones given to us. So what would I set this equal to? Which time do I know? The timer.
Yeah, you know.
Found a friend back here. We know the minutes relating to 3 ounces. So since I did ounces compared to ounces, this has to be minutes compared to minutes. But my 3 and my 19 need to correspond with each other. I don't know. Now we can make this T or something if you wanted to. Can I go from 3 to 19 easily? Kind of, depending on how you're like. Yeah, 3 to 18 would be 6. And then I just have one more of them. So it's 6 1/3. Or we could cross multiply and then divide this all. This would be kind of weird to multiply by 6 1/3. Or you can use your calculator. But yeah, we can just multiply and divide. George?
Can I show X's?
First, I would like to know if we do cross multiplication, what's 16 divided by, or 16 times 19?
Yes.
It's going to be 320 minus 16.
Oh, yeah,
304. Think about it. 16 times 20, take away one of the 16s. So that's 304. And then we would divide by 3, right? Because this would butterfly over there. What do we get for x?
X is 101.
And since that's time, we could actually figure out what that third of a minute would be. It'd be 20 seconds.
101 third.
So it'd be 101 minutes and 20 seconds.
Yay!
Question. A dude was one of the guys from 300 for Halloween, and it took us way too long to figure out what he was. Because when he came to trick or treat, we were like, "Oh, I know you," because he just had like one of the silver masks on. And we're like, "What movie are you from?"
Wait, what?
The dude's from 300. You probably haven't seen it because it's like pretty gruesome. But it's like a historical-esque movie.
It's not. It's
So-
the comic was very
Historical-esque. Yeah, I mean it's trying to be historical, but it's not like real stuff.
It's like super method. I was watching.
Check out. Oh yeah, we did skip A. So, can anyone tell me what the easy method here is? You don't need to cross multiply divide. You could. You don't need to. How about I go from 5 to 20?
4.
Times 4, right?
My mind is blown.
Oh, then half. Yeah.
2.5 is another half. So that's really times 4 and a half.
That means that.
Or we can cross multiply and divide. Either way, if I do times 4 and a half here, 7, 14, 21, 28,
1.5.
31.1.
Yeah. Math.
Questions? Check out 109. We should be able to solve these quickly. Check labels. If you put labels into your proportion, it will make your life easier for checking if you set it up correctly.
I am moving on.
You don't, as in Invisible Jerry.
The standard way we deal with miles or distance and time is put the distance over the time. So the standard way we would set up A would be 130 over 2. Distance over time. So then, if this is distance over time, and guys, one trick I started doing a while ago was when I go to set up a proportion, off to the side, label what you're doing. If I'm setting up distance over time, I jot down a d over t somewhere. So I remember when I go here, it should be d over t. Whatever I know, plug in what I know. So I know 390 miles, that's a distance. Is this easy? Quote unquote easy. I should really use cards. Make sure we're all awake. Does she? She stole it from me.
Yeah, she gave you credit.
No.
Yeah, she gave you credit.
Well, I need to give credit back to Mr. Dove then because he's the one who got me to start using cards. He was my mentor teacher. I begged, borrowed, or stole, but that's the teacher mantra. Micah, is there an easy way to solve this one? Do we see a relationship, or do we need to cross multiply and divide them? So that'll work. That'll always work. But if we analyze the numbers we have, it's a times 3. Yeah, so this becomes 6 hours. Now, depending on what road he's driving on, he might be speeding. Because if I take this back the other way, and I say, what is his distance traveled in 1 hour? What would that be?
That would be 50, 60 miles.
65. So, on Ohio Highway, most of them you'd be fine. But certain states, your speed limit's 60 or even sometimes 55. So yeah, sometimes it's 70. I don't know where it might be 80. It might
I'm in
be
the middle of Wyoming.
Yeah. I have not been in the middle of Wyoming, so it makes sense. Now, back to your desk. Move. Sorry, you're not handling it. Sorry. I know. I'm sorry. Man of my word. I'm not necessarily saying all of 2018 because you didn't drop anything, but for today, for our next 10 minutes, I don't want to worry about it. I can't live my life in anxiety of loud noises. I'm sorry. I do not want your classmates doing that either. If I look at B, what we're really trying to answer here are these situations proportional? Do I need like a handwritten invitation to have your attention up here? Like, are you guys talking about these problems, or are you just like having a social club back there? What's a bit? Like, if we're honest, are we talking about the work that we're doing right now? If I look at your notes, are you going to have what I've written down today? Probably. So probably in 7th grade speak is no. Right? Probably in 7th grade speak is I'm off task. So I don't really think this is as necessary with this group, but I just had a conversation with Math 7 this morning about the fact that some of you guys, and this is not directed at T, he just gets the brunt because he's the one who caught my eyes. Some of you need to grow up. It is November of your 7th grade year. It very quickly will be January. Like, you're going to blink and it's going to be 2019. You are running through your 7th grade year, and some of you are still clinging on to your 6th grade self. Some of you are not writing down your homework so that then you can lie to your parents, and then eventually your teachers are busting you on it, and it's because you're behind in your work. I'm not talking to Teak right now, obviously. I'm just talking in general. Some of you need to decide it's time to grow up. It's time to own your work and own what you need to do, and really just do what you're supposed to do, which in class is pay attention, which is sometimes hard. Like, if you guys need to switch how that group is sitting back there, like if you can't sit next to Caitlin and like not talk to her, if you guys are friends, I get that. I can't really sit next to Mrs. Goldring in a staff meeting. It doesn't work well. Mr. Sherg like gets upset with us because we're talking and laughing and making jokes. Then from across the room we text each other, and that doesn't get us in any less trouble. I'm not joking. Like, I'm telling you the honest to God truth right now. Our 7th grade team will text each other during our staff meetings, and that's not really appropriate. But like, I get it. It's hard to not talk to your friends or say the thing you want to say. I get that. But you have to make the mature decision of where am I going to proximate? Where are you going to put yourself? Right? Put yourself in the place of most potential, where you can do your best. So if that's not beside Caitlin, tomorrow I'll make an adjustment. Because I don't want a note from the sub saying Teak and Caitlin were off task all the time. I don't think they got any of their work done. Right? That's not what we're looking for. So sorry you caught the brunt of that, but it's been like minutes since, like, when I glance around the room, I know who's not paying attention to me, or at least not looking at me, and that just caught my attention. Glenn?
Can I go into the corner of the room and do my work on the floor?
Nope. I think you wouldn't be able to see that. No, like that corner maybe. That corner probably not, but you got to be able to see the room. If I pay one amount to get in, and then another amount for rides, can I just say, like, this is a proportional relationship to how many rides I ride? No. Be careful. Think this through. We've talked about the graphing of proportionals a little bit. If I graph a proportional relationship, I need to start here and go up in a straight line. This situation, with paying an entrance fee, I start right here at $15. And then I go up $4 every ride I ride. That is not proportional. So if we look at C, Armando has collected 39 bottle caps in the past 3 months. At this rate, how many bottle caps will he have in 5 months? Well, how many would he have collected after 0 months? 0, yeah. So would this be proportional? Yeah. Because 0 time collecting bottle caps, he'd have 0, right? You'd start at 0, 0. So then, if I have the relationship 39 relates to 3 months. How many is that per month?
13.
Quinn already said 13, right? So we want to figure out 5 months. We just do 13 times 5. That kind of breaks it back down to the unit rate, right? That thing per 1, and then it'd be 65. If we look at D, the grocery store sells 3 limes for 99 cents. Do you think a price of limes is proportional to the more I buy, the more I pay? Yeah, that only makes sense, right? So 3 limes are 99 cents. How much is it per lime? 33 cents. Right? So then for a dozen limes, I can do 33 times 12, or I could go from 3 and just do times 4. Right? Since my numbers work well together. They don't always. Yeah. Marguerite drove her friends to a movie. She drove 30 miles at 10 miles per hour in heavy traffic. That's like highway slow. And then she drove 15 miles at 40 miles an hour because they got past the crash or whatever that was causing the slow traffic. How far did she travel in those 45 minutes? Is that proportional? Why? Who can tell me why this situation can't be discussed as proportional? Yeah, thank you, Gabe. It's because her speed changes. If we were to graph this, she would start at 0, 0, but she's going 10 miles an hour. Lame. Then she speeds up. Goes faster, right? If this is distance traveled and time that we've taken, like my distance doesn't go up very quickly when I'm only going 10 miles an hour. But then once I speed up, I'm going 40, I would actually probably even steeper than that. This makes it not proportional, and you might want to jot a sketch of this in your notes, because my line changes behavior. So, although it starts at 0, 0, and starts in a proportional manner, 10 miles per hour, I then change, which makes it not proportional. Now, I could answer the question, how far did she travel? We'd have to calculate 2 separate things, but we could answer that. Questions on any of this? How would we solve it? So, group your things that relate to each other. 30 minutes at 10 miles per hour. Well, we went half of an hour then. Right, so that'd be 5 miles. 15 minutes at 40 miles an hour. Well, 15 minutes is a fourth of an hour. So that would actually be 10 more miles. All in, we went 15 miles. At least at this point. Questions?
Didn't you just say the 30 minutes divided by 10 equals 15?
What? We went 5 miles because we were traveling for 30 minutes, which is really half of an hour. We don't want to talk in minutes. We want to talk in hours. So this is half of an hour, which is going to be half this distance. So that takes us 5 because we went for half of an hour. Then my 15 minutes is a fourth of an hour. So a fourth of your 40 makes 10. In 45 minutes, we traveled 15 miles. But Quinn, this is not proportional, so we don't have any direct multiplication. Or we have 2 different problems at play here. Any questions remaining on solving proportions? So tomorrow, your objective will just be to do the closure. If you are focused and on task, you should have no issues getting done with it. Have a wonderful day, guys. Yeah, you'll be working as groups or teams or however you want. I'll just tell the sub to let you guys do whatever you want to do. As long as it's on math. I mean, academic stuff first, but yeah, within reason.